So back in the Rural TV studio again, and with me now is Mark Nevin. And Mark is the... What's your title there at Swanndri, Mark?
Oh, the big cheese, apparently.
Yeah.
No, the CEO there.
CEO,
Yes.
CEO of Swanndri.
That's right.
So Mark, 100 years.
Yeah, the brand was very fortunate last year to knock over the big one.
Yeah.
1913 it was born, and from a worldwide standard, and even beyond New Zealand terms, it's a great achievement for any business to be around for that long.
Yeah. Now there'd be a short list of companies that have been doing 100 years, wouldn't there?
Well, there's Brooks Brothers in the US. They're fine suit tailors. The New York Times. There's Burberry. One or two. But these are brands that are known today. Whereas I'm sure there are other companies, of course, that have been around a long time. Jim Beam, I think, has actually been around 200 years. You know that well.
Yeah.
But we're very fortunate to have been supported for that long.
Yeah. Now you've got to keep ahead of your game and not rest on your laurels, but you wouldn't think that you'd have to try too hard to sell Swannies in New Zealand.
Well, that's right. We get very well supported in New Zealand, and particularly in rural New Zealand.
Yeah.
But as I was saying to the audience there earlier today, one of the difficulties with Swanndri is that someone will come up to me and say, "I got my last Swannie 40 years ago," which isn't actually a good thing for business. So
no.
We've been looking at broadening our product range and making what we call Swanndri more every day, and developing product ranges that allow people to come back, will give them reasons to come back every season and buy our product. We've also been working hard on broadening our distribution base, so not just in rural centres but also in the cities as well.
Yeah.
We'd often get a phone call in the office from someone in Auckland asking, where can I buy a Swannie in Auckland? Well, now we can send them off to Barker's Menswear. They've got 20 odd stores throughout the country.
Yep.
And they've got a range of Swanndri product in there which is doing very well.
Now where did that relationship start with Barker's?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'd known the Paul Biddle and the guys there from previous business dealings, and they travel a lot with their sourcing, and so do we, and just looking at what's going on in different parts of the world, and a lot of collaborations going between brands and retailers, and you go into a shopping mall these days, and for most part, just about every fashion retailer is vertical. In other words, they source all their own product and it's their own label on the door. But they recognised that there was an opportunity there. They recognised the value that Swanndri might be able to bring to their customer base, and we introduced it there last winter, 2013, our centenary year, and worked really well. And back into it again this year too. So
that's great, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. Yes, it's really good.
How long have Barker's been going?
They celebrated 40 years last year, or the year before. 40 years, yeah. So they started off with Dean Barker's old man, actually, with the old track pants, and but they've morphed into much more of a fashion brand now. But they haven't been around for 5 minutes either.
No. Now the 1,000 Acre jacket.
Yes. Harris tweed,
yes.
All the way from the Isles up in northern Scotland, and it's a jacket that we introduced simply because we wanted to do a Harris tweed jacket, and we thought, will it work or will it won't, because it's pretty pricey. But as I mentioned also earlier to the audience, and forgive me that your audience might not know that I was speaking earlier, but. It's been a real winner for us, and it's $200 more expensive than our previously most expensive item, and it just proves that with a good brand story and merchandised in the right way, that you can command a premium in the marketplace, provided that all the factors are taken into account.
Yeah. So have you got a bit of a team working on that side of things all the time, just new product ranges?
Yeah. So we've got a design team that works within the business. Like most apparel businesses, we're a pretty small and lean team. But it's taking all the intelligence that we're getting from the marketplace, both here and overseas, feeding that into our designer, and she does a fantastic job. Also doing the same sort of research and understanding what's going on in the market, and putting together product that seems to resonate really well with our customers.
Yeah. Overseas.
Yep, we got export market into Australia. We've got about a team of 4 people working for us over there.
The Aussies enjoying the Swannies in there?
Yeah, they do. It's it's a big place geographically, and also and population-wise, and you'd like to think that you'd be able to make an extrapolation of of penetration that we have here in New Zealand and apply that to Australia, but it doesn't quite work like that.
Yeah.
But climate has a lot to do with it. But again, in the country areas, it does pretty well. And then we export quite a bit up to the UK.
Yeah.
That's primarily more our traditional style bush shirt styles, our Ranger and our original bush shirts. But that market is growing as well. But the difficult thing that we've got in both of those markets actually is that their economies are not performing particularly well. Australia probably only in the last 12 months, but UK for the last 3 or 4 years has really been puffing.
Yeah.
And so the introduction of a new brand up there has been, the appetite for retailers has been, it hasn't been that high because of inventory and the slow nature of the market up there. But we also sell to Canada and France and Scandinavia and all sorts of places.
It goes everywhere.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah, it gets around.
Now, with New Zealand hunters, do you think there was ever a swing to the polyprops and things, and then go back to wool and realising that wool is good?
Oh yeah, I think what's happened is that there's been a lot of development in the years of different fabrications, and certainly with the invention of polypropylene and synthetic fleeces 20 years ago, that there has been a move to it, and now what we're finding is that and we saw a decline in our wool products there in the early 2000s, and in fact we introduced a lot of fleece bush shirt style product probably around about in the early to mid 2000s, but we're probably a little bit ahead of our game in terms of when we did that. So it didn't necessarily work that well, but what we're finding now is that our bush shirt styles, and there's 3 in that category, are our year-on-year sales have been growing at a fantastic rate, and I think what people are recognising is that whilst sometimes it might not be the ideal garment to use, it's so very, very versatile.
Yeah.
So and the brand itself is we believe is enjoying a pretty good patch right now. So I think that's also helping.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people, they get with the brand and they fall in love with the brand. Some people fall in love with the Swanee. Could you apply the brand to Swanee sunglasses, or do you look at dabbling in other little bits and bobs?
Yeah,
accessories.
That's a really good question.
Wallet.
Because we've got a couple of accessories like that. We've got dog coats.
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah, we had jandals. What else have we got? Undies. We've got Swanee undies.
Yeah.
And so doing a little bit of product extension is always on the top of our mind, and whether it be golf club covers or any of those sorts of things. There's plenty of ways of adapting Swanee and Swanndri into some of these. So it's just about picking your time and picking your run, and sometimes it might be useful as a valid added value type of add-on promotional sort of product, or else it might be a standalone product, as say the undies and dog coats are.
Yeah. I'd like a tea cosy for my hut.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put on the teapot.
Yeah. Well, I'll see what we can rustle up there. May take us. I'll put it into the design process. There's a big queue for that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you might have to be pushed down the waiting list.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, you're welcome.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
Good stuff. Yeah.